Hey guys, welcome back to Todd Audio. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Shure SM7B and doing some vocal demos on it, comparing it to the Shure industry standard SM58 microphone. So let's get started. Out of the box, you get the SM7B, and then you get an extra thicker pop filter kind of thing, which I rarely see used. In radio talking environments, I actually see it more commonly used. I guess it gives a warmer presence to the voice. Also, if you're doing some aggressive vocals, it can help as sort of a pop filter type thing. But honestly, I've watched a lot of videos in both studio and live performance environments, and this seems to do a sufficient job as a pop filter without a standard pop filter being used. So not a major thing, but it's a nice feature just to have this right in included with it out of the box in case you ever want to experiment with that. On the microphone, let me go ahead and pull open this so you can see. And by the way, it's as easy as pulling that off and pushing that one on there if you want to switch them out. The inside of it has a durable metal screen with the inner workings of the microphone on the inside of that. So it's really durable. Obviously, you want to take good care of a microphone like this, but it's also common that they screw right onto the stand and they're an easy go-to microphone. So it's common that they're just left on the stand. I had an incident once where it was on a boom stand and the stand was a little bit too lightweight and the whole thing just tipped over. So I was freaking out, and I look at it and there was absolutely no damage at all. So that was a relief. Another nice feature about it, which is unique, is on the back of here, you've got two toggles. You've got a bass roll-off built into the microphone. So for vocals and that type of thing, you know, maybe acoustic guitar, some other things where you don't really need the lower bass, that'll roll it off for you. You've also got a mid-frequency presence boost, which is a popular option for vocals as well. So that gives you a few options, which kind of like almost turns it into a little bit different characteristics of the microphone. So you can, it's sort of like a 2 or 3 for 1 deal in a way. I find myself using this microphone by far more than anything else in my studio because it's so versatile. I use it mainly on vocals, but if I don't have it in use on vocals, it's also a go-to commonly for things like the acoustic piano, the acoustic guitar, guitar amps, bass amps, and even a kick drum would be fine for it. And it has an awesome low frequency response, and that's why a lot of times something like a SM57 is great for a lot of things, but a bass amp or something like that, this is definitely going to outperform it because the amount of low frequency detail that it will pick up. On vocals, I love this thing for vocals because in a home studio environment, you don't have to deal with as much of the room noise issues without a treated room or a room that's treated sufficiently. It's compared a lot to be like a condenser microphone. It's a dynamic mic, but as far as dynamic microphones go, it's compared as far as the amount of detail you get out of it to be similar to like a condenser. So that's why a lot of times you'll watch videos in like a live studio or a live radio station performance environment. They're using one of these because it's a close range response as opposed to having a condenser mic on vocals that's going to pick up every reverberation in the room, and then that's another thing you have to deal with. This doesn't do that, so you can just have it on the stand, go to it when you need it, and not even be in a vocal booth or anything, and it's going to sound great. So as I mentioned, let's go ahead and get started on the comparison with that and the Shure SM58. So here's the setup. I've got them both hooked up to a Focusrite Scarlette. Channel 1 is the SM7B, channel 2 is the SM58, and the volume levels are about at the same point. And then I'm going to do one vocal take with both microphones side by side. So you'll be able to just compare the exact same vocal take. Starting out, I'm going to have the mid-frequency switch just on the flat line. And I'm going to use the bass roll-off for both of them since that would be appropriate for vocals. Then I'm going to turn the mid-frequency boost on so we can do A and B comparisons both ways. Darling, darling, don't end up behind me. No, darling, you don't wanna end up behind me. No, darling, I don't want you to. Okay, so here's our tracks. The one on top is the SM7B. The one on bottom is the SM57. Audio levels look pretty equal, so I'll leave those where they're at. No effects in anything on here, so we can just hear the dry takes. And this first section right here is without the mid-frequency boost. This last segment over here is with the mid-frequency boost. So I'm going to start out by just listening to the SM58. So I'll mute the top track right here, and then we're going to see how that sounds. Darling, darling, don't end up behind me. No, darling, you don't wanna end up behind me. No, darling, I don't want you to. Okay, now let's quickly mute that one, turn on the SM7B track, and play the same thing again. Darling, darling, don't end up behind me. No, darling, you don't wanna end up behind me. No, darling, I don't want you to. Okay, now we'll listen to the second track so we can compare the two with the mid-frequency boost on. So I'm going to start out with the SM58 first again. Darling, darling, don't end up behind me. No, darling, you don't wanna end up behind me. No, darling, I don't want you to. Okay, now I'm muting the SM58 and turning on the audio for the SM7B with the mid-frequency boost on. Darling, darling, don't end up behind me. No, darling, you don't wanna end up behind me. No, darling, In summary, after watching the two comparisons, I was actually pretty impressed with the SM58, especially on the first take. Without that mid-frequency boost, they were pretty comparable, although the SM7B was a little bit more clear, had some more clarity. But it wasn't until I turned on that mid-frequency boost until I really saw a bigger difference and really got kind of a better quality sound, a little bit more professional. And I think when you start putting effects on it and stuff, you're going to get some good results out of that. And I guess it goes back to the versatility of the SM7B. That's a nice feature, having those switches where you can kind of use it for what you need. In upcoming videos, I'm going to do other comparisons, probably on a bass amp and a few other things. It's just too much to get into on one video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks again for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and have an awesome day.